to my son at 18 years old. I think it's part 5. Yes, part 5. So I was telling you about the last job I just had. I was working in construction cleanup, and these construction workers, they carry heavy things. They do it over and over again all day long. But the problem I had was, the first time I worked with them, I quit. I worked so hard, and for 10 hours plus 2 hours driving in the morning, because I had to go before the sunrise, and then I would get home 2 hours later at, because of traffic through the interstate traffic and so on. The United States has a horrible traffic problem, people. So I went to work, and then I got home at 8 o'clock. At 8, I took a shower, then ate, and then I made love, but then I fell asleep after that. I was exhausted. The spouse did like it that I was a working man again. This is when I came out of the prison, the hospital jail prison. They don't let you go outside, you know. They don't let you keep your dog. They don't let you keep your son. They don't let you have children visit you. They don't let you have sex with your spouse. Opinion, I didn't ask. She went to visit me one time, and that's the time they set me free. I think it was on a Saturday they set me free, or if not, it was a Sunday. So what I'm telling you is, the first time they set me free. So what I'm telling you about working with these men, I quit on them because I got diarrhea from the moringa tree leaves that crushed. It said not to drink so much moringa, but I was expecting a boost, and I just wasn't getting it. I was getting no boost from the moringa tree. So A, it's no good. B, I need more time. B, it is helping me, but I'm working so much that the moringa tree is not really helping me as much as I need it. Or it is, but I need more even. So I started putting a spoonful, and that's the wrong way to do it until your body gets used to it. So what happened next was, I quit for a month. Then I started working again because this guy wants to help me. He's a Christian. And so I went to work with him, but I spoke with the bosses and I said 3 days. 1 day I work, 1 day off. 1 day I work, 1 day off. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And that worked out. I did 3 days, then I did 3 days, but then the second 3 days I began to do 8 hours instead of 10, because I told them I would just, there was no punch card. They would all see me. I would go lie down. I made it up to 4 o'clock, from 7 to 4, because you have a 1 hour lunch mandatory. So I went to sleep, and I would fall asleep until 6. I had an alarm in my iPod. And then we would come home. I liked coming home by 7. It was because it was light outside. I liked it. And I was not as tired, but I didn't like waiting 2 hours, for the drivers to bring me home. But I got fired this week because the boss said, look, you throw me off balance by today you're here, tomorrow you're not here, and then today you're here but you stopped at 4 o'clock, and I need to keep the other workers until 7 o'clock so they finish. But I don't see it as so I said, oh fine. So he said, I have to let you go. So he let me go, right? But the way I see it, they're not serious about working, all right? Because what I have seen Yes, they're hard workers. They have the drill on all day long. They're drilling, making noise, right? Number one, I would use, if eventually I was going to buy it, I would put the head pads, ear pads, earmuffs or something, because they do make a lot of noise. But the biggest problem I see is there is no organized way to get the garbage out. I mean, we're throwing it out a window, or we're throwing it out of a balcony, 4 floors down below. Then we got to pick it up and put it in a trash, one of those rectangular big ones. They go in the back of a truck. Or we got to find the guy that uses a machine to, like a bulldozer, that you throw the garbage into it, and then there are so many little mistakes, because what I used to do is I used to go to YouTube and see how other businesses are doing the garbage removal. And I even saw that in the United Kingdom, England, the drywall is being recycled. They crush it, they put glue on it, and they make it into a sheet of drywall again. So here we throw away so much, and then the dumpsters, the dumpsters, they're so full, but they're not full correctly. Like, there might be an overflowing section, and then in the middle there's nothing, and then in the other side it's overflowing, or in the middle it's not evenly full of garbage. There was no trash chute. That was wrong. There was one wheelbarrow, and sometimes that was in one building, and then we need to use it, but somebody had moved it, so like we couldn't find the broom, so it would take me half an hour to look for the broom, going up and down the stairs. So it was not serious. It was not organized. Some people, like, they had all their tools, right? They all had their extension cords and so on. Those things are heavy extension cords, going up 4 stairs, 4 flights of stairs. So the extension cords, they don't use ladders. They use these stilts, and they walk on stilts, and those stilts are heavy. There was only one guy that could go down the stairs with stilts. Everybody else would take them off and carry them. But this guy he was the only one that walked from the building down 4 flights and walked all the way well, it's not a parking lot, but all the way to where the cars were. It's eventually going to be a parking lot. And he would walk carrying his stuff and on stilts, carrying his extension cord, his carpentry belt, and tools. He's the only one that could do it. Everybody else did not go down the stairs with those things. So I admired them. They were strong, perhaps even 100 times stronger than me. Let's see, if I can lift 50 by myself, 50 pounds, and that is using my legs and everything, not just my arms. These guys could do the double, 100 pounds, and they could do it for all day long, because a sheet of drywall is 100 pounds. Actually, most of the time I was getting out of their way. If they needed help to pick up drywall, I would tell them, okay, you get that corner, I get this corner. And they said, no, I'll do it. And they would pick it up by themselves. So my son, you're going to be a strong man. And it's all right if there are a million men that are stronger than you. It doesn't matter. Uh, by strong man, I mean that you're going to live a life of peace and harmony. And the only way to do it is if you live alone. So I got fired, my son, I got fired. But God willing, the money I have, 200 and something, maybe I can invest it, and then we can change our life, because the spouse is letting me keep it. Which is, she's being kind to me. Sometimes I wonder why. I know that when I got out of the jail, the hospital jail, she was being kind to me because, one, she knew she had lied, so her conscience, right? Because I've done things like since I was a kid, Grandpa told me that bad people would put sugar or something into the gas tank, and then that car was destroyed. And so I put sand in the motor, and eventually that car died. It was my own car. My mother gave it to me. She gave it really to the spouse, but since my birthday was we would have lost like 7 months if I didn't have my name on it. But now I understand. Never own a car with another person, because I hit it with the bat. The police officer says, "Oh, okay." I told the police, I hit it with the bat to explain to her, pretending that the car has feelings. The car would say, "Oh, it hurts." So I'm saying, "It hurts me when you yell at me." She doesn't listen. She just yells more. So that's how I got Baker acted with the car. I wanted to be my spouse's hero, so I put the sand in the motor so that the car would die. But it took like months to die, and she just went off and bought herself a new minivan with payments of $250 a month, and she doesn't have work for the summer. Oh well, we'll see what happens. So I wanted to be the hero in this family, right? I'd say, well, now that we don't have a car, I will ride my bicycle and I'll go do the grocery shopping. But no, she instantly went to buy on credit a minivan. So women and men, they solve their problems differently. That's fine by me. She bought a minivan. Now she's happy. And I don't know if she believes in God or not, but I tell her, lately she hasn't been worried or anything, because I tell her, how many problems have we had for how many years, and how many miracles. You know, my ex-wife gave me $1,000 one time for the mortgage. That was very nice of her. My sister gave me $3,000. My brother gave me $2,000. My mother paid it for a year. Now she's paying. Well, she's doing something again. My aunt for 6 months? Maybe a whole year, since there was several times that she came by to visit. Every time she came to visit. So there are many good people in the world. You know, would I pay my daughter's mortgage or my son's? I don't know. Everybody needs to learn to stand on their own feet. However, we all need help. So I was getting at the Bible. The Bible actually made me more intelligent. having children made me more intelligent, because I went to a church. I went to a church by a guy that I was invited by a guy that ripped me off $300. He was going to fix my credit. Never did that, and he closed his shop and he moved. But he did invite me to a church one time, and I went. And in that church, the pastor there said, people that are not intelligent have begun reading the Bible, and 3 years later they're more intelligent. And how that happens is, if you read the story of Samson or any of the other stories, you see that the humans made mistakes, and you can avoid these mistakes. For instance, do not bear false witness against your neighbor. Alright, so I don't bear false witness against my neighbor, but someone did it against me, so that's how I ended up in jail the second time, right? Hospital jail. So what can I do? The only thing I can do is have a camera right here on top of me. And then the camera says, well, the guy's been on the internet for a couple of hours. He ate. He hasn't been yelling. He hasn't been screaming. He hasn't been seeing elephants walking in here. Earlier, when I would have a camera that perhaps a little pen or something that records, he went to the park. He didn't speak to anybody. He played with his son. He took his dog. He came back. Before that, he slept for, I don't know, 5 hours. From 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock. Yeah, it's about 5 hours. Before that, he went inside the house, but just to have lunch, and then he came back. The camera knows how many times he pees all day. Excuse me, in his bucket. The camera knows how many times the woman has come over to visit and to talk about the grass growing outside and other questions. I went to see my mother, and I ate something while I was over there. I gave her a couple of tortillas with cheese. Alright, so the point is, I have these camera, and the camera says how many times I masturbated all day. And let's see, how do I fix that one? I think that in the last 2 days, since yesterday to today, that's only 24 hours. That's really one full day. Wow, that would be 10 times. Yeah, 5 and 5, easy. Of course, if I had a woman, then I wouldn't masturbate. So that's another reason, son, that you need to... You see, right now, before you go through puberty, you really have no clue. It's probably like a video game addiction, but it's even stronger. We saw a video about a kid going... he was real angry that his mother had deleted his video game account. And so his brother filmed him. But it feels terrible. It just feels terrible to be burning with passion. And oh, and by the way, the camera would record all the nice things I say to the spouse when she comes in here. You look beautiful. I mean, it is true. She's always well dressed. But the thing is, the camera, I could even put the camera so it focuses on my face, you know, so it records me my interactions, maybe 2 cameras, one over there, so they can record both of us. I'm always polite. Now that I have my own room, and now that I know that I get Baker acted, if I get back at her by, let's see, what could I do? Well, the last thing I did was I drew the circles up on the roof, on the ceiling. But the reason I did that was because she wouldn't let me put a skylight. Not even in dreaming. I said, look, I would like to put a skylight. Wouldn't that be wonderful? She said, never! You know. So, if you live alone, my son, and you learn carpentry, you're going to be one happy man. One very happy man. I saw a guy that his girlfriend only comes over for the weekends. That's all right too, but I don't know. I need more action than that. Just the weekends. But I saw, you know, like instantly I sort of trusted the guy. Yeah. He's a guy that doesn't want anybody to bother him. That's why he lives out in the boondocks. He was making a video about recommending people to live off the grid. And he was showing how his tiny home, yes, it's tiny, but he could actually take out a wall eventually and put another room. And then his tiny was just the center, like his bed and fridge and stove right there. But then eventually he could have on the sides, he could add additions to it, which was cute. Yeah, that would be great. Alright, so what will I do now? I will end this video telling you, my son, that I love you, and that's why I'm nice to you. But besides that, you are very, very kind to me. You practice Tai Chi Chuan with me, or like we discovered today, Taekwondo. We're watching the Aikido, Matrix Aikido videos. It's wonderful. It's wonderful to be your dad. Soon, we will have one of the courses, my son, God willing. And then we'll start earning the money that we need to buy the other courses, God willing. If I don't make it, if I die tonight, what you can do, son, is, I don't want you to join the military, but they do learn those techniques, carpentry and things like that. If you do join the military, definitely become a carpenter. Or you could even do like the other guy that came to fix the fridge. But even he said that he had needed extra courses because his was air conditioning. He needed the electronics courses, or he would recommend it. Son, if you end up going to public school for all 18 years, that's fine. It's not the best. If you go for 16, perfect. Go for 16. At least you know you can quit at 16 legally, and then go to a trade school, my son. Mechanics will be the #1, because you'll always have a job, you'll have a car, and from there you can branch off and learn poetry, history, and whatever it is that you really want to study, like electronics. You'll have the money. You'll have the money also, since you're living in a tiny home. You got to have a plan, you see. My life didn't work out the way I planned it. The spouse had $100,000 and she spent it on this house, and now it's all gone. She wouldn't listen to me. So that's another reason not to get married. Remember the song of Love in the Air. He said, we have a joint checking account. You put the money in, she takes the money out. So it's just, you do need love in order to have a good life. And get it from your dog, your cat, kittens, right? Get it from your tiny home. You'll become more religious if you have a tiny home. You know? And buy some land, get off the grid. Go live in Honduras. Everybody's off the grid. Many people are off the grid over there. Your great-grandfather, he lived off the grid. He was very happy. No electricity except his car battery to watch his TV show. Alright, enjoy your life. Be better than I am. Read your Bible. At least listen to the stories. Alright? Learn something from every movie you watch. Ask yourself, what did you learn? Learn something. What would I have done? Learn something. Listen to Tony Robbins. He's got many good questions. Bye for now, my son. I love you.